Hey everybody, it's video 2 today. I have my guest Chris with Chris's Garage Doors, and we are still on summer maintenance. And today we are talking about two things, one of which Chris is going to talk about. The first thing I want to tell you about is your ceiling fans. I have been working in the hottest house in my room, the hottest room in my house, because it was the one room I forgot to switch the ceiling fan direction. So make sure that you have switched your ceiling fans. I believe they need to be turning clockwise right now in order to make that room cooler. So make sure you switch your ceiling fans. Chris is here to talk with us about garage door maintenance. And if you get my maintenance sheet, there's a whole bunch of details there. But Chris is going to just talk to you about your garage door maintenance. And since it's summertime and you're using the garage doors and kids are going in and out, there's a couple things that Chris is going to tell you to make sure to check out. So I give you Chris with Chris's Garage Doors. Thanks for coming, Chris. Happy to have you.
Well, thanks for having me. I am really grateful to be here and glad you invited me to be a guest. And really right now I'm just going to talk about some things. So the industry standard recommendation is you tune up your garage door once a year. And I'm sure many of you watching are thinking, I probably haven't had my garage door tuned up in 20. So here's some things that you can do on your own that will help keep your door running a little bit more optimally. And then I'll give you a couple tips about what to look for to see if you need to call a professional out. And there's a couple things that if they don't work properly, you want to get someone out. But the first thing you want to do is you just want to do a visual inspection of everything you can see. I'm standing in my garage just to kind of give us a couple pointers. So most garage doors have hinges that look like this. There's going to be slight variations of different hinges, but most of them are going to look similar to this. And you want to just make sure there's no cracking or cuts in them, that they're not really warped or bent out of shape. And then there's also hinges on the side of the door. They look a little different, but they're the same, and they have little rollers inside of them. And you can check the roller by just kind of putting your finger in there, seeing if it wobbles at all. Okay. So I got a little shadow. And then check that. And then the other thing you want to inspect is we might not be able to catch it too well here, but there's a cable. Yeah, you can see it kind of shaking there. There's two cables, one on each side of the garage door, and they run up and down. And some of them, sometimes they start to fray. So you want to look at the entire cable, bottom to top, make sure there's no fraying. If there is any fraying, then you definitely want to get a professional to come out and change those out, because eventually they're going to snap and the door is just going to go lopsided. So once you've done a visual inspection of everything, make sure there's nothing that looks really out of place. Make sure you test all the bolts. You can pick them, just touch them with your finger to see if you can loosen them yourself. If they're loose, just take a wrench and tighten them. Most garage doors have a 7/16 wrench size. Some of them are 3/8. Some of them are a little different. So go ahead, then you tighten all the bolts, and you want to lubricate everything. So you go back to the hinges. Every hinge, you lubricate each side of the hinge where the metal will rub against itself. And then you do lubricate the roller.
Are you going to use WD-40 or?
No, you want to avoid using WD-40.
Okay, not that.
So WD-40, yeah, WD-40 is actually a solvent. The WD stands for water dissolution. So if you want to clean stuff out, WD-40 works great, and that's why a lot of times things will get quiet when you use it. But you do want to apply lubricant. So you can start with WD-40, clean everything out, and then follow with the lubricant. If you go to any hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace, they're going to have a door section. And in the door section, there's going to be a garage door section. And in the garage door section, there's going to be a can of lubricant that just says garage door lubricant. Buy one of those, and you can use that around the house too. It doesn't have to be just the garage door, but that's probably what I'd recommend you get. So, and then, so lubricate the hinges. And then when you get to the rollers, like I showed you earlier, you want to lubricate inside where the ball bearings are. Don't lubricate the track or put grease in the track, because what you're ultimately doing when you do that is you're causing the rollers to slide instead of roll, and you're just losing functionality, and the grease is going to get all gunked up, and over time it's going to get really ineffective. But yeah, that's the main steps, and then there's a couple safety steps that you do want to check as well. The first one is you want to make sure the door is closed all the way, and then you pull the emergency release. Now, normally the emergency release is going to be overhead, where the opener is, where the opener rail. Mine is mounted to the side, so I'm just going to click it over here real quick. And then once you release it from the opener, you want to lift the door halfway by hand. Oh, I don't think I got it. Let me try again. This time. All right, let's try this again.
Garage doors are heavy.
Well, yeah, and that's what we're testing. We're testing the weight, and I think it's just getting caught on the. Oh, that's what I did. I forgot I had an extra automatic lock on my door. I forgot to disengage it. All right, so once you got it released from the opener, lift it by hand about halfway. If the garage is balanced properly, 90% of garages you're going to be able to lift with one hand, just like I just did. I did my left hand. I'm right-handed, so it was really easy. So you want to get it to about the halfway point where you're going to see the brake in the middle here. This is the second. This is halfway up. And if the door stays up halfway without falling or going up, that's good. And then you do want to test all the way up and see if it'll stay on its own all the way up. Mine's not going to stay. Sorry about the lighting. Well, mine's not going to stay because I specifically made it a little heavy because of the style of opener I have. But if you have a standard opener and yours doesn't stay up all the way when you release it, then you definitely want to have a professional come out and tighten the springs and make sure the door is balancing properly.
Yeah.
And so, but the reason you want to do it when the door is closed first is because you don't want to release the door when it's open and have it slam down if it's too heavy or if the spring broken and you didn't know it. So always start with the door closed. And then once you've done all those tests, there is another test that you can try. It is recommended that you do this test once a month. If you haven't done it in 10 years, you may want to have a professional come out and do it first, just in case there's been some damage to the door that's going to cause it to break further with this test. But if you've got a good door, you've had regular maintenance on it, there's two tests you can do. One is it's a safety sensor test. I'm going to stand this way. You can see me. Where you just push the button on your remote, and then you throw your foot. You can see my foot like across the sensors here. Yeah. So here's a sensor at the bottom.
Yeah.
And you'll see my door actually went right back up. So that's a safety reverse test. So you want to check the sensors to make sure they go. And then the other one is you want to put a 2x4 at the bottom of your door and let the door close all the way. Once it hits that 2x4 flat, it should come back up. I'm going to test it on my shoulder just because I know my door is properly adjusted. And so you can kind of see how it works. So basically I'm straddling the sensor. I'm just going to push the button and I'm going to let the door hit my shoulder and it should go right back up. So both of those safety features are federally mandated since 1993, and they're designed to protect people and animals and anything, vehicles from getting too much damage from any, accidents happen. And so that's basically a rundown of what you can do for a garage door tune-up and safety check.
Chris, that is fantastic. I often tell people, as I don't do the home inspections, I'm just the VP of Business Development.
Right.
Ask, what's the one thing they should test? And I said, you need to test your safety reverse. You need to make sure that's working, especially in the summer with kids and pets and people and lawn equipment going in and out of that. You need to make sure to test it. So thank you for talking about those.
Especially if you have kids and pets.
If you have what?
Kids and pets, sorry.
Yeah, you don't want anyone to get hurt. So awesome. And Chris, can we find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I don't remember exactly my tag, but you can search for Chris's Garage Doors. I think the tag is something along the lines of Colorado Garage.
Okay.
And then I'm on Instagram as well under Chris's Garage Doors. LinkedIn, I've got a page there, and that's kind of all I've got for that. I've got a Twitter account, but I really don't use it.
I'm not a fan of Twitter, so those three are good. Instagram.
That's what my looks like. So if you see that anywhere on my social media, you've got the right page.
Great. Well, I will be sure to look all of that up and make sure my son My son edits my videos and gets volunteer
Oh,
hours. So we'll make sure to add all of that. And I really appreciate you being flexible and taking the time out of your day to join me here and help educate people about their home maintenance needs, especially the garage door. It's a big one.
well, I really appreciate you taking the time to have me on, and it's just a pleasure being able to share the knowledge. And I'm always free to consult with over the phone, or if you want to send me an email. I don't charge to troubleshoot off site. I will charge if you want me to come out, but I'm happy to try to help you through. And if you go to my website, I do have a bunch of videos on there with tune-up tips and other things that you can learn more about garage doors.
That's wonderful. I will have to go check that out. And I'll have my son add that in as well. So,
Awesome.
yeah, that is all. I was thinking there was one more thing I had to say, but apparently there isn't. So this was video 2, everybody, with our 8-week series of home maintenance and home maintenance inspection. Oh, home maintenance inspection. For those people who have found their forever home, we do home maintenance inspections. And just as a checkup for your house. You've been there for a long time. You don't know if your garage door is balanced or not. So that is a good thing to check out. And one of the things that our home inspector would point out and then tell you that you should contact a professional. And we would give you Chris's information. So Chris, do you have anything else to add before we wrap up?
Sorry, are you still there?
Yeah, sorry. I asked if you had anything else to add before we wrap up.
I had a phone call come in and it muted. I think it muted Zoom, so I had to ignore the call and get back in. I'm sorry about that.
No problem. No problem. Well, thank you once again, Chris. Enjoy your evening, and we will talk soon.
All right, thanks, Julie. Have a great one.
Thanks. You too.